Hello everyone. So new video, new blog article, and a new way also to present demonstration right now. So I'm using StreamYard. I don't know if you know this tool, but it's quite the best tool I know for doing webinar or online event. And yeah, we of course we use it also for French Power Break we organized every month for the BizApps French community. But yeah. Let's start with the new hot topic of September 2023, the famous Unify developer experience. So yeah, I've done a very large article. I don't know if it was maybe the most important one or the most large one I made since I am MVP or even before. But yeah. Hopefully you will like it. So the goal is really to jump with a live demonstration. And yep, I will do also if you like to join in beginning of October. I think it's the 5th of October. I will do a presentation 1 hour again for the user group in India. So if you like to join, it's free, it's online. And maybe it's also a good way to ask me anything about question Q&A. Of course, you can. I will of course suggest to read my article as usual, and don't hesitate to share to all your colleagues that you want to play with it. And also, if you have question, you can ask question on top below of the article, or even on the comment on YouTube here if you like to ask me, because I know that there is a lot of question, because this is really a breaking change for finance operation. So I guess, like me, I don't know if it was the case for you, but it was announced like, I don't know, a few years back that have been announced by Microsoft that at the end, the goal will be that we will have the ability to develop locally, so on our own laptop. So here you will see that I am on my Windows 11, my own laptop, and I can develop anything on X++ using a brand new kind of development environment, full cloud, full software as a service from the Power Platform Admin Center. So finally, for me, yeah, it's a reality, the one Dynamics, one platform, or the Power Platform convergence that we were talking about for like 1 or 2 years ago. Now it's a reality. We can play with it, and we know maybe also the strategy behind the scene of Microsoft is step by step again. They can't release everything and break everything just in few months. So they need to step by step bring some feature coming from the famous or not famous LCS portal. So if they want to bring every FNO administrator, every FNO developers, consultant to Power Platform Admin Center, and kind of using the same kind of feature, the same kind of environment to the same thing, they have started that for developer, for administrator, and at the end we will see that the goal will be to also bring production and sandbox tier 2 to PPAC, to Power Platform Admin Center, so that they can bye LCS. Yeah. So let's start, if you don't mind. So I have done an article, okay, if you want to check. Globally, I will say that the introduction is kind of good to read, because also you have a lot of documentation released by Microsoft on the Microsoft documentation learn. So you have one for development side, one for admin side, you have a FAQ, and I think they will update a lot in the coming weeks, and the Viva Engage group, aka Yammer. Okay. So Viva Engage Group, it's here where you can really engage. Good thing. Engage the product group that have released that. And if you have questions, feedbacks, especially feedbacks, don't hesitate because we are still in public preview. Okay, it's not GA, it's not global availability. So first reminder, since it's not global availability, I would suggest, of course, to use or to try it if you like me in my partner tenant, or if you have a customer tenant, but you ask to just provision one unified developer experience or one unified operation development environment. Yes, you can do that, but still continue to use LCS. But you will see that you still need to use LCS. Huh? It's not dead yet. It's like an hybrid path, in fact. So you still have to use LCS. You still have to ask a production instance from Fast Track. You still need to have tier 2 sandbox. You still need to do CI/CD with DevOps with a deployable package, etc., etc. But I would say that even for new projects that will come in the early next year, 2024, hope maybe this kind of feature will be in GA at this point of time, and you can only use this new kind of environment, this new way to develop locally by the beginning of next year, and still for the rest of this year, that because three months left, it's fast. This year it was very fast. We have a lot of to check, a lot of changes to see how it will work, etc. And you don't want to use only this kind of environment without any Azure Cloud Hosted environment. If you don't want to lose all your development because Visual Studio has crashed on your own laptop. So could be great to just to try it. That's the goal of this video, and that was also the goal of this article. Okay, so remember, as I said, I have a user group India in coming weeks. If you want to ask anything, again, as I said, it's still in public preview. Okay, so don't use only this topic. And as I said, still a thing because we can, let's say, we are on hybrid mode. But the goal, at the end, it will be to go only to Power Platform in Center. So I think it's great for Microsoft because they say, okay, I know that it's kind of a large change, so maybe we'll go step by step and don't change anything for all kind of environment at the same time. Okay, but also, as I said, it's great because it's also a good opportunity for Microsoft to have all kind of environment, even if it's finance, even if it's supply chain management, even if it's commerce, even if it's sales, marketing, field service, so CE application. They want to have one global Dataverse, different containers, because that data types of Dataverse for CE application are not the same as FNO application, so they can't, combine and have one global database. And I don't think that CE people will be happy to okay. So LCS. So LCS, as you know, that's the goal. Okay, we need to bring FNO operation environment to like Power Platform in Center. And as I said, to have all kind of Dynamics application at the same place. Okay. So let's start with environment strategy. So let's start with administration. Okay, and after we will go to the development side because we can't develop if we don't have the environment, of course. So by default, when you buy any licenses of FNO. Okay, like you know that it's normally minimum is 20. Okay, so if you want to create your LCS project, you need to buy full operation 20 licenses of finance or supply chain or commerce or HR now. And you will be entitled to 60 gigabytes of operation capacity and 10 gigabytes for Dataverse. So by default, they give you storage capacity for finance operation. Of course, if you buy more licenses, they give you more storage capacity. Okay, but this is really important because you will see that now to provision, to prepare and to have your unified operation environment development experience provisioned and prepared, and you can start developing. You need to have it will cost, for the cost will be in fact the storage capacity, and that's it. Okay, so you will have two requirements to deploy this new type of environment in for platform in center. They will check if you have enough storage capacity, and also if your account that asked to deploy this environment have the right licenses. So two reminder, in fact. So if you are not coming from CE, a CRM application, finance operation, as you know, don't check. In fact, if you have licenses, like if you don't have any licenses assigned to you, you can create and manage your LCS, your environment, and in fact, you can even go there. Okay. But you know, at some point, I was saying that maybe Microsoft will check at some point if you have the right license. Okay. If you don't have the right license for CE application, you can just go to the environment. Okay. Including maybe Power Platform too. So yeah, I think the only thing maybe you can do, maybe you have one dedicated person, maybe on the customer tenant level, that will deploy those kind of environment. If you don't, they don't want to, of course, to assign a license for each developer you have. But remember again, it's if I do that, it's not a Microsoft Word. Normally, again, every kind of person that access to any finance operation needs to have a license. Okay, event developer. So and for storage capacity, as you know, so if you go, I can show you that because here I am on my partner tenant level. As you can see, we have partner licenses, so we have a lot of database capacity for here it's for Dataverse, okay, and here it's for finance operation only. So just for information, because back then, you know, we didn't have this kind of reports by default. It was only this part that was available. Now we have finance operation part, okay. Because I know that in LCS, we didn't have this kind of report back then. So you had to ask support team to ask them, okay, what is my current storage I used for the whole environment? And you had to normally pay for it if you have over usage, okay? Here you have a finance operation tab. As you can see, the report is not very well. Again, I guess it's still right in preview, if I'm not wrong. I don't know if they display it. Not yet. Okay. I don't know if it's still in preview, this because as you can see, I have a unified operation sandbox, the environment, sorry, the new one, the new kind, and yeah, it's not refreshed. This one is very huge. Yeah, because I have copy, I think, the sandbox on it. Yeah, that's right. But by default, yeah. By default, normally, yeah, the report seems a little bugged here right now, but by default, you will have, I think, if I remember well, I display it in my, it will be 2 gigabytes for Dataverse for each environment and 6 gigabytes in finance operation base. So if you just deploy, you know, the Contoso demo database on it, you will use this kind of thing. So 2 gigabytes for Dataverse and 6 for finance operation. So of course, if you have 10 developers and you follow the same kind of patterns we add in a Azure Cloud Hosted environment, you add I don't know, you will consume a minimum 20 gigabytes for Dataverse and 60 gigabytes for transpiration. But you will see that in fact this kind of environment could be trashed or throwaway environment, because you will see that now you will be able to deploy this kind of environment in just 1 hour, okay, and not 6 or more hours in Azure that we had in LCS with the cloud hosted environment. And of course, you can even copy the database of your production and your sandbox on it very quickly. Like again, 1 hour, so you don't need to copy your production to a sandbox in LCS, backup it, restore it manually with SQL package, .exe, manually. It's not anymore infrastructure as a service. You will see that it's a software as a service. So really, yeah, you can just very quickly, if you have a new developer coming from your team, you deploy a new unified operation, so DevBox, very quickly, just copy the database on it. He can debug very quickly. He can connect from his Visual Studio locally very quickly. And if he stops 1 or 2 days after, erase the environment and that's it. Okay. Of course, you can maybe, and I said really maybe, I don't know if it's very a good way or a good pattern, but of course, in this way, you can say that 1, 2, not maybe more than 2, but 3 developers could, in fact, yes, access to the same unified operation, the DevBox environment that we will deploy just after. But if someone, it's like Azure Cloud Hosted environment. Okay, of course it was a VM. Of course you can't connect to the VM at the same time. It was where you will use the RDP access or Bastion if you had Bastion on Azure. So you are connecting remotely to the VM in Azure. And of course, if someone was already connected to it, you kicked your colleague. And yeah, it was not possible to develop multiple on the same Azure Cloud Hosted. And of course, also because sometimes, you had created into the Azure Cloud Hosted environment, the workspace locked on your account. It was for you. Okay. Here, of course, you are developed locally. Okay. On your own Visual Studio. You will see that after. And of course, you can connect to multiple different unified operation environment from different tenants, from different customer. That's very, very huge. In fact, this part, it was, I was really waiting for that. I worked like for 5, 6, 7 customers different. Okay. Sometimes, just 1 day per month, just to debug a bug or, to release a change request or something like this. And, you had to deploy this kind of Azure Cloud environment. You have tons of RDP, to access all kind of VM. You had to, you had to also to update them, to manage them, to do security purpose, because, it was public access on RDP. So sometimes some security people on the customer side didn't want to have public access. Of course, you can secure that, the RDP, but it was really complex, and now it's really straightforward. That's a goal. Okay, so to check, double check if you have on the Power Platform PPAC. By the way, to go to PPAC, you have a very good URL. I don't know if you have noticed that. So you just type aka.ms/PPAC. Okay, that's a very fast way to go there, like this. Okay, and you can double check your if you have enough. If you don't have enough, so you have two things you can do, is to archive. So archive features will come. I guess it will be maybe my next article, blog, video, because I know that it's a hot topic also for next year to start to really archive. But it was still in public preview. They have released archive feature for finance, for sales, I think for supply chain, sales, inventory transaction, GL, I guess, general ledger transaction, and also I think sales orders. But it's still in preview. I think they have even paused the project right now to review the architecture behind the scene. the goal will be to push data outside into a managed data lake from Microsoft. Again, I guess maybe they will use the same thing as Dataverse features, because also Dataverse has now also retention policy with an archive features. So again, since they will bring that together, maybe they will use the same archive feature from both worlds. Okay. But right now, the only thing I would say is really to try to reduce. You can have in FCS, or even by if you go to your remotely on your SQL database, you can have a top 10 tables, to check if you can reduce a little bit. Yeah, that's the only thing. Otherwise, sorry, but you will need to pay. Of course, those type of environments are in fact kind of free, in fact, because you will not have any new Azure cost. So you will not need anymore also. Sometimes, you had finance operation project that will not use any, that's kind of strange for me, but still, let's say they will not use any Azure resources. They had to do it, in fact, to deploy an Azure subscription just for Azure Cloud SIL environment. So, in this way, it will be possible, in fact, to do any kind of finance operation project without any Azure subscription. Okay. So that's very good. So the cost will be, of course, there's the database storage, but really they are working on it. So yeah, as I said, you can go to your account to see if you have the right license. Okay, assigned to you, because it will be you that will deploy the environment. The important part is really to have this common data service for. Okay. So if you have a supply chain, I think it's common data service for Dynamics 365 supply chain management. Okay. That's the thing they checked, in fact, behind the scene when you will use the PowerShell script I will spoke after. Because right now, it's only possible to deploy during the public preview right now. And normally for the GA, they will have, it will be possible to do this way. If I go to PPAC, it will be possible to say new, add Dataverse store. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Next. And after you will have enable Dynamics app, yes, and you will have finance supply chain here. Okay, maybe also, I don't know, we will have finance, just finance for sandbox tier 2. Okay, and maybe finance dev, something like this to know, because right now in Dataverse, you have 3 types of environment, maybe 4. Yeah, you have trial, okay. You have developer, sandbox, production. But they don't use developer because developer, it's very, very limited, in fact. And for me, even for Dataverse or CE developers, they still deploy sandbox types of environment when they do development. And the developer environment, it's a personal environment where you can play around with Power Platform without any license restriction. But here, I think they will still deploy sandbox and sandbox, but you need to say, okay, I want a real sandbox tier 2, like we used to do before, or a unified operations development experience sandbox. Okay. But here, this will be the goal. But right now, as you can see, I can't deploy it through the UI. Okay. So we have seen a lot of questions, but why I don't see this? Because they still, they already have released the documentation on how it will work when it will be available via the Power Platform in Center. But right now, we do use PowerShell only, okay, to deploy your environment. So in order to do that, you have PowerShell here, like me. If you don't have install the PowerShell at the beginning, from the first time, you need to do that. Okay. And the only thing you need to do, you can just copy paste this one. I will explain just after. Okay. Okay. So of course you need to connect to your account. So here I am connected, and that's it. Okay. So that is the first command you need to type. The important part is those here, okay? So you have dev tools enabled true and demo data enabled true. So we will, for the dev tools, we will, I will explain a little more after. For the demo, it's here where you say, I want a Contoso, database demo environment. Otherwise, of course, it will be an empty database if you type false. Okay. And the last remaining point is just one command to deploy the environment. By the way, I see a lot of people saying, "Wow, why do we need to type again PowerShell command to deploy environments? We do that. We have done that 10 years ago. Yeah, now we need to do it in via button, via UI." But yeah, just reminder for FNO folks, a lot of people coming from CE application are using a lot, in fact, those kind of PowerShell command for Power Platform administration level, I would say, because you can automate, in fact, through this kind of thing. Let's say I don't know if it's a good use case, but let's say every Sunday, I erase all environment of unified operation and I recreate it, all of them from scratch. Okay. So you can do that via PowerShell like this. And you can, even if it's PowerShell, you can use it in DevOps, with a pipeline if you want to automate that. So it's always good to have those kind of things in PowerShell. So let's create an environment. Maybe you will see that I have created a lot of environment. I will maybe clean up some of them after because I tried a lot, and including different data center that we will check after. Okay. I am in administration mode. So I wanted to copy paste. That's a goal. Okay, I will create my 7 unified operation on this tenant. Where is PowerShell? It's here. Just a reminder, the name of environment needs to be 20 characters maximum. Okay. But of course, maybe you don't want to the environment with a large phrase. The templates, very important here. Maybe the most important part, in fact. If I go back to my article, here you will see that you have like a mapping table to say, of course, if you have a finance license, the finance license that I here, on your dedicated account with that deploys environment, it will be this template name. If you have supply chain, you need to put this template name, etc., etc. And you have some comments also, because as you can see, some templates will also pre-configure, some thing behind the scene. Like if you are using supply chain, maybe you always want the planning optimization, the new MRP, add-in, the microservices. As you remember, maybe all kind of add-in, LCS add-in, export data lake. Well, now we have Synapse Link that are in GA, but that is in GA, sorry. New Synapse Link, but also all kind of, I don't know, even Finance Insight or something, all kind of things were developed on top of the Dataverse. It was a microservices on the Dataverse, okay? So now that we are provisioning the Dataverse and it will also provision finance operation at the end, in fact, you already linked, that's also very good, in fact, now, because all environment, including those new type of development environment, will be always linked to one-on-one Dataverse. So now, of course, Microsoft can really pre-configure everything for you, including all dual write, virtual entity, all things that it was needed to activate or configure manually. And back then we had to go to LCS to click on Power Platform integration part to go to setup and link the environment, etc., etc. Now, since we start from the beginning, from the loop is closed now, and this is very good. And I was always saying, 1 or 2 years ago, that when Microsoft will make that mandatory, well, now this is it, in fact. And yeah, that's very good. And okay, project operation, of course, we'll have, it's very important, for project operation, we need your right to do in order to do that. So okay. The only thing we don't have right now from public preview is a commerce part, So They are working on it. Normally, it should be available by the end of the year. And the only thing that is important for all partners that are seeing this video, partner, you sometimes have this kind of license, the last one. It will be mapped to the finance template, but right now we have a bug on this one. So maybe you will have an error when you will deploy. So, but it will be fixed very soon, normally by Microsoft. Okay. Of course, you have all data center. Okay. Very good. I will pick just one example, but for France, LCS had a dedicated region, the completely separated from the Europe or US LCS, global LCS. And now I can deploy a French environment very quickly. Yeah, and yeah, we have all that. In fact, we have the same kind of data center as Power Platform or customer engagement CRM people used to use it. So my side, I will use Europe and finance because I have a finance license. I'm good to go. No, it's my 7. Right, thank you. And let's go. And now you have a bug. Oh, like not really a bug, but major bug. But so you wait. And he asked me an account. Yeah, but I was already connected. But okay, let's go. Let's go again. Connect again. And you wait. But if you wait a long time. In fact, you can even cancel it. Okay, because if I go back to my Power Platform in Center, now I should see. Yeah, my dev box, Unified Operation 7 is already preparing. So now we will not wait, okay? Because it takes 1 hour and 30 minutes in average, okay? Max 2 hours, I would say. But globally, yeah, 1 hour and 30 minutes. It's like globally, and we are still in preview. Maybe they will still enhance that in the coming months. But globally, it's like LCS tier 2 sandbox, as the self-service types of environment in LCS. In 1 hour around, if you had both, the sandbox, you will have your environment in 1 hour. Before jumping on the development part, let's say, let's say you had already an environment in which you have used, you already created a Dataverse, and you already created Power Apps, Power Automate. It was a development environment when you have play around with Power Platform. Maybe it's also you want to use the same developer environment. If you already have a CE project, they have one development environment, okay? Once Q&A UAT sandbox, one production, okay? It was deployed 1 year ago, okay? Only CRM, okay? And you go on a project in which they say, now we go, we signed, we need a finance operation. So you are coming to this project, and you already have a development dedicated environment, so you could use an existing one and just deploy this finance operation provisioning app. This will do exactly the same thing as the PowerShell we have done. Okay. Of course, you already have the Dataverse, so we will not recreate another Dataverse, but you will just play around and use only deploy only finance operation tools. Okay. So now that we wait just before developing, just a reminder of what is behind the scene, this kind of environment. So you will have one AOS, okay, one SQL database, one Dataverse. So it's not an it's an all-in-one, but not with Azure Cloud Hosted environment, you add in fact all things inside, in localhost, even the local SQL server, etc., etc. Now it's really only all cloud. You have a very good cloud image here, and everything is online. Okay, everything is online. You don't manage anything. Okay, you just need to, and that we will do, to use Visual Studio to develop. Okay. So as I said, the several points needs to be pointed. Is okay. As I said, the link is already done between Dataverse and Transpiration. You will see that we already have the dual write. We already have the virtual entity solution. You can use, in fact, Synapse Link, the new thing with data lake. I made an article if you want to go there. You have supply chain templates, so you will have also microservices, including planning optimization. The only thing we don't have right now is really to apply service update, because you have maybe see, I didn't, when we were in FCS, in FCS you had in fact in FCS, yeah, sorry, you had when you ask to provision a new Azure Cloud Asset environment, it was possible to put the version you want. Okay. Right now we can't do that in public preview, and you can't apply service update, proactive quality update, restart services, or whatsoever. But I guess it will also come. Again, we are still in public preview. Thank you again, Microsoft. I didn't start this video for that, but thank you again, Microsoft, for this feature. I guess it was a long project in order to do that. So yeah, let's give them again a little time, okay, to go step by step, okay. And of course, when it's done, you will see, of course, the two environment URL, the one for CRM and the one for unified operation, for the finance operation URL. The only thing which is not very, maybe, I don't know if it would be possible for Microsoft at the end, but right now, okay, since it was me that I've deployed with through PowerShell this environment, this one, okay, it would be me like LCS, like used to be in LCS, the environment administrator. So I will be me, I will be system admin on Dataverse, and I will be finance operation system admin on FNO side, okay? So if I want to give access to other developers to this environment, I need to give them access in a Dataverse side, user part, okay? In Power Platform Admin Center. If I go through one I already have, so you have user here, okay? And you can assign it to them, or even you can have a dedicated security group, so that every developer are on an Azure Entra or Active Directory group, and they will have access to it automatically. Okay, if you assign them to this group. But for finance operation, as you know, it will not be synced automatically. So if you just give them access to Dataverse only, they will not have access to a finance operation. So you have to replicate. Maybe at some point it will be synchronized automatically, but need to go to do that twice. As I said, you will have all dual write, all solution, I said, including also some LCS add-in, some microservices. Sorry, let's forget LCS, okay, microservices. And you will have the Power Platform and tools, okay, finance operation platform tools. This is really important because this is the one really mandatory, in fact, and this is the one that say it's a development, in fact, environment. Because when you have this solution, I can go to the maker portal, okay, make.powerapp.com, and you will have an app called a model-driven app. That's why I was saying, for 2 or 3 years ago, every developer on finance operation needs to know Power Platform, I would say, because as you can see, by now you will need to go there. It will be mandatory, in fact. And yes, you can see it's here where you can see all the package operation history. It's like it's like environment history, I would say. In LCS back then we had environment change history. It's quite the same with also other features like unit testing, okay, and so on, okay. So you have all operation history, and you have the deploy, and even you can download the log if you like, okay. Yeah. And for trial, because I think after we go, on the dev side, just finally for trial, and I think we are done for administration, let's say. For trial, the good part is we will have, in fact, if it's not already the case, just before trial, sorry. What about sandbox, tier 2, 3, 4, 5 production? So at the end, Microsoft will not ask you to buy additional sandbox. Okay, you know that by default, again, with 20 license by default on finance operation, you add one production, of course, and you add one sandbox. Okay, tier 2. Okay. Now they will translate, I would say, if you had bought 5 more sandbox tier 2, they will convert that to storage capacity only, so that you can deploy that only, but you will not. So in fact, you will just pay licenses and storage in the future for finance operation. Okay, that's it. So maybe also a little more easier to manage. The only thing maybe for the pre-sales part, it will be to, even when Microsoft do a 3 years contract because it's a large customer, it will be complex for them, I guess, for salespeople to say, okay, I know that in 2 years you will consume 500 gigabytes. So I already gave you a quotation with that. Yeah. So, but okay, let's see what will be done. In fact, I have a good question because I don't know if you know that, but also in Dataverse side, in admin for platform, I don't know if it works. I will ask the product group for that. If you can also do billing policies, for Dataverse, because it's also possible to put this an environment, so a Dataverse environment, so the one here I have created with a Dataverse and a finance operation to be pay as you go, for extra over usage licenses, including storage capacity. So you pay only because also sometimes it's very difficult. The database storage capacity will grow, reduce, maybe grow again. It's sometimes complex. Or you will, in advance, you will pay for 100 gigabytes for the whole year because you don't want to every month to review that. Also because even for CSP people that resell licenses through a distributor of licenses, of course, sometimes now, I don't know, but on the energy side, it's exactly like this. We always have a 1 year engagement, I would say. So you can't reduce the storage. You have to. You pay for 1 year for 1 gigabyte, and that's it. So yeah, maybe they could be also a good way. I will ask them about it. So yeah. And the trial, as I said, will be a good way to deploy trial finance operation. So let's say you already have a sandbox of CE application already deployed. You just want to have a proof of concept or to deploy quickly. Back then it was very complex, even for training, for learning new feature, something like this. It was very complex to deploy. I don't know if you didn't have the 20 licenses in LCS. You need to set up the LCS. You just have a sandbox, a production, but you just want a quick available finance operation demonstration trial. With that, it will be possible, including trial. So very, very good. Okay. So as explained now, when you bought licenses, you will have extra storage capacity. So this will grow much further. So again, yeah, archive will be the most important part. So let's start developing, if you don't mind now. So I will use, of course, the unified operation environment I have created yesterday, or I don't remember when, but yeah, I will not wait the 7 one I created before, okay? But I will use a one that I've already done. So you just need a Windows 11, okay, like me. You need Visual Studio 2019, not 22 yet, okay, not yet. but it will come, okay? So still need, like Azure Cloud Hosted environment, it's still, it was till Visual Studio 2019. Okay, local installation, of course, yeah, but if you already add, it's not a big deal. The only thing it's important, you need to have the workload desktop development with .NET. And if you add already Power Platform tools or even the finance operation extension, please remove them before, okay? You will need also an SQL server, local DB. I would suggest SQL Server Express, but it works also with local DB. Local DB, it's already installed when you install Visual Studio. So my side, I use the local DB. It's important because this is a way. This is a way to restore the cross-reference database. Sorry, that is important because cross-reference database. When we put F12, or you go to definition, find all references. It's very important to have this cross-reference database locally on your own computer, because you know that we have a lot of objects in finance operation in the source code. So yeah, it's important. And my suggestion also is to really install a 7-zip software, because you will see that we will download locally the source code of X++ from Microsoft locally and extract, because it will be a zip file by default. The package local directory where you have all models of Microsoft. It will be a zip file. It's 3 GB, around 3 GB, but extracted it's 16. And I don't know how many objects we have on it, but it's it takes on my side it was 30 minutes, and my laptop was really very a lot of CPU memory consumed. And of course, you will do that one time, because it's your own laptop. It's my own laptop. I install Visual Studio one time. I install Power Platform tools one time, extension, Visual Studio extension, and FNO extension one time. Okay. And you will see that the only thing that you will do if you worked on several customers is to jump or reconnect all your Visual Studio from one DevOps to another DevOps, and you will see that we will have the possibility to switch from a configuration after very easily. So the first thing you need to do, okay, is to check if you have the Power Platform extension Visual Studio. Okay, so my side, I think of course I already have it. So you have here your extension, manage extension, and I think okay, this one, Power Platform tools. Just check, because they released a lot of change, so there is some updates. You have to automatically update this extension. So of course, when they will release it, you will have a pop-up saying, okay, you need to update it. But yeah, they changed a lot of things, performance issue, bug fix, etc. So please check if you have not update on it. So install it, and when you have done that, you need to connect to the Dataverse. Okay, so you will have here connect to Dataverse. So here I have already connected to one the unified operation 2 I have created, but I can say no, I don't want. Thank you. And I would suggest to you can sign in as current user, display list of available organization. Just a reminder, in Visual Studio, you are connected, okay, to your account. Mine is connected to just one account, okay. I have an MSDN license because as a partner, I have it, Visual Studio subscription. But also, you can connect. You can connect for if you use the same. If you have access all on the customer DevOps level through the same address, it's good, okay? But, and this is important, I think, yes, the important thing, if you do that, I was not aware of that, but now, yes, if for Power Platform, okay, you can't access to it through a guest account, Okay, if you have been invited to another tenant, the customer, your customer tenant, through an invitation, through guest thing, it works, for DevOps, as you know. Here, I think even my address, I have access to different DevOps. Okay, but for poor platform side, it's not possible. Okay, in poor platform, you will see only the Dataverse of the tenant in which you are connected. So, of course, when you will go through that, connect to Dataverse, it will not work. Okay. So you need to do that and display all types of organization, and you can connect to all unified operation. Unified operation you have deployed on this tenant. Valid connection. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I was already connected. Sorry. I want before just reconnected, just a quick tip here. When you have installed, no, it's after. It's after. Yeah, it's after. Sorry. No. Let's go back. Sorry. Let's go back. I will show you it after. Okay. Connect to Dataverse. Sorry. Do you want to use? No, I don't want. Sign in as current user. Yes, but you can uncheck if you are, again, you want to connect on another tenant. Display list of organization. Yes. So here it's when you want to switch from one unified operation to another on the same tenant. Okay, well, I will speak and still use this one, but okay. And when you will connect to that, pick the default solution here, okay? And you will have a pop-up normally. Me, I don't have the pop-up saying that, do you want to download the finance operation assets? Because when you will do that, normally you will have a pop-up like this, downloading the missing metadata. Why we have that and how I can re-download that is because by default, here, you will have a dedicated folder here, as you can see. It will be always this folder, okay? So on the local disk, the user, your user, app data, local, Microsoft, Dynamics 365. Here you will have the version. The version of the one you connect to it. Okay, so now we are, again, we can't say that I want a unified operation environment with 10.0.36, even if it's GL now, the 36 version. Now it's 35, they are all deployed in 35. So they will detect, but if I want to re-download this thing, or I don't know, in the future, now they will provision 10.0.36 version, it will detect that you are connected to an environment in which you don't have the source code of this version. Okay, it will propose you to re-download everything. If I want, I can delete this part here. Okay, and if I delete that, when I redo and retry the connection, it will detect that I don't have the version. It will ask me to re-download. Okay, the FNO asset. Me, I already have it. Okay, so I can go to explain here. So here it's where you will have the package local directory. So you have to unstruct that. Okay. Here it's the finance operation extension, Visual Studio. So you need to install it, like the Power Platform tool extension. And here it's the reference database for the cross reference that will be restored automatically by default when you will do the configuration after in Visual Studio. The package local directory, explain, you have all model. It's a zip file, very large again. I don't know if I will try to click. Yeah, use no. Yeah, I created a dedicated folder here, and I created that, and I extracted all the package directory here. You have also, you have all models, but you also have the bin folder in which you have also, like we used to have, locally on the Azure Cloud Hosted environment. So model util.exe, x++ check best practices, etc. All tool generate ISV licenses, All things are here if you want to be run. Okay, and also don't forget to create a dedicated folder in which you will put your own custom model, the one you developed. Okay. So for me, I would say that the best way to organize that is, of course, to have, like me, a folder in which you have the source code of Microsoft. So now I have the 10.0.35, but at the end, if I want to have 36, I have downloaded from a unified operation that was 10.0.36, because I can show you that, but how to know that, it's where you go to the finance operation environment. Yes, thank you. Come on. While it's loading, as explained, you have it will be to have one dedicated folder per version. Okay, so that you can switch between version after we will see in the configuration. Okay, but you will need one, I would say, one folder per customer you are working on, in which for each customer you will put the custom model you develop for them. And we will see that on the Visual Studio workspaces, we will map, of course, each workspace for each different DevOps customer to the good folder. Okay. Of course, if you are working on only one customer, well, you just have, like for me, the version and the folder where I will put my custom model. Because you will see that, it's the same thing here, as usual. Come on, guy. Wow, very slow. Let's go. Well, we'll go to the one, in fact, the dev2, because that's the one I am connected right now in Visual Studio to do development. So let's pick this one, maybe. Yes. Much better. So here, really, I am on a unified operation environment. And if I'm not wrong, yeah, as you can see, we are on 10.0.35. Okay. So that's why you download this source code when I am connected, when I connect through Visual Studio to the Dataverse, to the unified operation environment, in which, of course, we have a Dataverse, but also finance operation environment. You will see that it's on 10.0.35. Do I have locally the source code downloaded already for this version? Yeah, yes or no? Of course, if at some point we will do maybe proactive quality update. As you can see, we have the last version here for the proactive quality update. Of course, it will maybe detect that, and yeah, it will ask you a lot to download that, because it will be a new version, and it will ask you if you want to download it and re-extract it. But it's not mandatory, of course. But yeah. Okay, I think this is so. If I'm not wrong, let's go back to my article. I don't remember. Yeah. So when you have install the Power Platform Tools extension, the FNO extension Visual Studio, you have extracted the source code locally on your own laptop, okay? Like me here. Here, sorry, I already extracted. Now you can go back to Visual Studio. First thing I will suggest is to go to Option of Visual Studio, and you have a finance operation. I don't remember. X++, no. Even me, I don't remind it with Power Tools, Power, General, and yeah, maybe if you want to debug, to check, it's a public preview, you want to logs for operation. You know the log operation that was on the model-driven app, the finance operation package deployment manager. You can also have it locally if you like. And you can say, do not download asset if using, so you can say, no, leave me alone. I don't want to have this pop-up every time. You can say, and you can check if you want, okay? And you can do not display Power Platform Explorer and connect it to Dataverse. This is good if you just connect to Dataverse, but you will not do development on Dataverse side for CE, like plugin C#.NET or whatsoever. Yeah, you can just check that because you are doing only X++, only FinOps operation. It will, so in this way, it will be faster to open and to connect. Okay. After, normally, yeah, you are good to go to configure. After, you just have to go to configure metadata. If this doesn't appear sometime, because it's sometimes very slow to update this new menu item, I would say, you click on infolog. It will refresh, okay? And it will appear normally. And the configure metadata, as you can see, here I use local DB. I already used and it detect the cross-reference database, and I have mapped my own custom metadata to be on this folder, as explained before, and for the reference source code of Microsoft on this folder. Okay. Of course, and this is important, it's here where you can say, this is my current one, my default configuration X++, but you can create several one. Okay. So one per customer, maybe. Okay. And you can switch between them very easily. You just unpicked current, and it will switch from one another. Okay. And when you do that, you are good to go, because after you can display the AOT, and I can check the code if I like. I don't know, this one, view code. Thank you. And we can develop locally. Woo! Woot woot. And of course, as explained, since I have restore automatically, it will restore. When you will do the configure metadata, with the cross-reference database, it will detect the, the package local here, sorry. Yeah, this cross-reference DB, okay, it will be restored by default. I don't know if I have because yeah, good. Let's say now I want to check. Yeah. Okay, let's check that. So you can go to definition. Okay, so you can. It's like before. It didn't change, but it's sometimes very more easier and really important, more fast. It's very fast. As you can see, the cross-reference database is working very well. After that, I would say that we have done that. So as you can see, you can have a lot of configuration if you like. But globally, after that didn't change a lot. Of course, you do development like you were doing before. It's exactly the same thing. As explained, maybe I have a project here. Okay, this one. So you need to connect to DevOps. Okay, you need to create Visual Studio project with FinOps operation template. I don't know why I have that. Okay. Well, sometimes you have some pop-up error, the strange pop-up, but yeah, it's a public preview. But for my side, I don't have a lot of pop-up error. But yeah, you need to create your a specific model. You can connect to an existing DevOps, of course. You need to create your Visual Studio workspace. I can show you my Visual Studio workspace, but this is one. Yeah. I created, because I have a dedicated branch. I have created this dedicated branch to to partition and try this unified operation environment developer experience separately from our ISV Tanergy. And yeah, as you can see, I have mapped the metadata, because on my DevOps, as usual, on my DevOps, if I go to the repository, I have one model, okay? And we have the metadata, of course, and the project. Me, I put the NuGet config and the package config here. You can put somewhere else, if you like. So it's up to you. But we will see the DevOps CI/CD after. Don't worry. And of course, here is where you say where your Visual Studio project will be by default. Okay. So when you have created that, if it was an empty like me, you had to create your own model. So exactly the same thing as before. You have the model management, create model, that didn't change. We will see the things that change after here. But globally, that you create your model, you create your project, and you can start to develop event handler like me. Yes. That was okay. That is why that this this warning. Okay, thank you. Of course, we can develop form extension. You will have the preview. It's a little slow here, if I'm not wrong, to show the preview. But here I have done a very, very fast development. Well, I can do the same. Okay. Here I had changed, which is not the best practice. That it was just for very. Just put. Of course, you have the labels part on your own laptop. So I changed, the Aurelian here because it was a system label by default. It was just for testing purpose. Visual Studio is busy. Okay. I think it was not a good idea to open the label, the label search. It's a public preview. Whoa. Okay. I will maybe restart. No, I have it. Woo! Well, it was just very slow. Maybe because it was the first time. Oops. Close. Thank you. Thank you. So let's say I want Aurelian 2. Don't know if you have saved it. Yeah, needs to load again. Okay, Aurelian 2 now. Okay, so I have a detect. We have a pending change. Okay, so now the things that need to be changed, because how I can check if it works, how I deploy things, is you go there. First thing you need to check is now on the properties of your project, you have synchronized database like we have before, but you have also deployed changes to online environment. Okay. And yeah, it's how you connect to it. You can set true, so that every time you do a build, like me, rebuild, it will deploy it online, okay, automatically. So you build locally and you put the thing online, okay. Of course, when it's loading and deploying, you can have the full model management. No, no, I can do it. Yeah, build model, I wanted to show you build model. But you can have also the deploy model to environment, online environment, and you have also delete model from online environment. So that is very good because you can clean up a unified operation environment very quickly. You can delete all models that are currently on it, or you can deploy it manually like this, especially when you have a ISV model already compiled. Come on. So it's still a little slow to deploy because, as you can see, I just have one class, one form extension, but let's go. Of course, I have one pending change. I can already check in. I can already check my item so that I can show you after the DevOps part at the end, the ALM stuff. So you have the manage X++ configuration. You have the build, I think. Yeah. FinOps clone runtime. Yeah. Come on. You can do it. So hope you like this. After we will see the debug part. Don't worry. But you will see it's much faster. So it's still very a little slow to deploy, I think, online. Of course, in fact, it's great. Yeah, in fact, we have much better performance for the build part because you build locally, okay, and you just build. You don't have the AOS, the SQL Server locally, etc. So you can build very quickly on your own laptop, including if you have a good laptop, it will be very fast. But after, of course, this package needs to be put online. And here, of course, before in Azure Cloud Hosted environment, it was all local. So it's already deployed, So it's better, but yesterday it was much faster. I don't know what is going on. If I refresh, because as I said, it's a unified operation 2, the environment in which I currently deploy something by development. Normally, I should have an operation history deployed. Not yet. Okay. Environment detail. Yeah. Okay. He was already. Okay. Sorry. Before, it was only a building. So I don't know. Maybe there is something on my laptop because the build normally is very fast. So now he's deploying. Sorry, as you can see. So I don't know why the build was very slow like this on my own laptop, but normally it's very fast. Deploy. Now we have it in progress, as you can see. And so here, commit is still in progress. So here it's the thing so of course the good way will be just to avoid to I forgot one line of code to deploy every 5 seconds. Which did fast, say it's already done. If I refresh, in fact, normally I have the log also there. Not yet. Deploy. I don't know if you have checked the synchronized DB log. So here, as I said, I can I have also the log locally because I checked that on the option of Visual Studio. But normally, if I go to finance operation, so the unified operation 2, in which I am connected, my unified operation, it was the custable, I think the form extension of custable. Okay. You will see that. So of course I can show you again, but I need to check again. Tic tac, tic tac. Okay, thank you. So I can show you that, of course, the model I have developed, Aurelian Dev, is here. Okay. And my customer extension form should be there. I put Aurelian 2. Bon, Well, the environment is a little slow because, of course, like we used to do before Orion 2, it works. Like we used to do before, of course, in Azure Cloud environment, every time you build, you restart the EES, AOS services. So, of course, it needs to check, to redo the cache thing a second time. What else I can show you on development side? Well, I will not take some time to represent everything in X++ development because I suppose or I assume that you know how to do X++ development. After that, as I said, it's exactly the same thing, just another way to do development locally. And the only thing is to deploy. You can deploy the model like this. As explained, you can have the property here, deploy change online environment to true. And also when you go to the extension of inspiration, when you go to build model, because you can rebuild from scratch all all the model, Aurelian Dev, where is it? Is here. I can set this model I developed myself. I can deploy to connected environment, okay? And you can synchronize also database. And here you have also same thing. Oops, sorry. Synchronize database is still there. Of course, you can synchronize database. Oh, sorry, I launched the wrong thing. And yeah, that's it. Of course, you can create, and I will do the debug. Here, I created a brand new object, okay, an event handler. It's just a demo purpose, okay. But here, I can put this debug, okay. I can just launch debugger. So the only thing really to be aware of, so you will see that the symbol will be, as you can see, finish. I can start debug. Amazing, no? Because before you were still in public preview, impressive for Microsoft. So if I go to my unified operation 2, I was the one I used to be before. If I go to sales order, because I think it was when I modified the field on sales line, just a data event handler. Amiibo, I will reload again. Again, the AOS are on cloud, the SQL database is on the cloud, nothing else than Visual Studio locally on your laptop. And if I pick this one, sales order, navigation very a little slow here. Come on, just a sales order. Debug is still on here. Come on, thank you. So I can click edit, and I don't know, I will change the quantity. Okay. Up, ting, and that's it. I can debug and etc. I have well, it didn't change a lot. It's still the same debug as we had in Azure Cloud Hosted. But right now, of course, it's large faster. So customer will be happy because developer can reduce the amount of time to develop something because they can debug very quickly now. Okay, that's it for debugger. After, well, I will not take some time to go further, but it's exactly the same thing. But I wanted to show you the good performance globally. What else? Well, I think it's quite the best part is there. Okay, I explained that. Yeah, I wanted to say that. Don't remind you that here, I was on the unified operation sandbox 2. If I don't forget to change to connect to other Dataverse. When you change your DevOps, you connect on another DevOps you change your workspace from another customer, don't forget to change the Dataverse you were connected on it. Okay, you have one session, one Dataverse session connected through Visual Studio. So because otherwise, if you debug or if you launch the deployment of the model, you will deploy it to the wrong customer or environment. So be aware of that. Yeah, you can deploy as explained. I explain it. Debug, I explain it. I explain this one also. I explain the model-driven app. I explain that you can see how it works and the log, etc. So I'm finished on the development side. Let's finish with the ALM, CI/CD, DevOps part. Okay. So as explained, this part, the repository didn't change. My side, I still use Team Foundation version control, but could start to use Git if I like. But okay, I have one model and I want to compile it, to build it every night, on every change set. Okay. So this part don't change, but a little. Okay. I still use NuGet packages, so I don't use build VM because, Azure build VM was also on cloud hosted environment. And at some point, I guess that cloud hosted environment will be completely deprecated. But I guess it will be deprecated when they will just erase or completely off LCS. Okay. But here, I still download the NuGet packages that don't change. I assume that you know quite well still on the CI/CD. Otherwise, like in my article, if you don't know at all, ALM, so continuous integration, continuous deployment, you have a good article, tons of article, and how to do that. Okay. So on my side, I assume that you already know that. I will just show you the change again. With that is they have updated, in fact, the task, the extension, because it's in development. It's an extension on DevOps. This one, finance operation, it's not by default. So you have the finance operation tools on extension, and you will need to install the Power Platform build tools now. Get both of them. That's new. Okay. So install this one. And when you install, you can check or you can update the existing build pipeline you already have, or like me, because it was a new branch, a new model, I created a new pipeline just for that. I created a new build pipeline, and the only thing I changed is this one. I checked create Power Platform unified package because this is new. You have the unified development package. And also I still create the old deployable package for LCS. So that with one build pipeline, I can deploy still the development on the LCS only environment, like tier 2, okay? Sandbox tier 2 that are only on LCS. But also with that, with the unified package, I can deploy the same build pipeline, the compiled package, to unified operation development. Because as I remember, the unified, I don't know if it's already there, the unified operation 7 I launched before via PowerShell. Otherwise, I can explain again, but maybe it's still in preparing. Yeah, still preparing the unified operation 7, but those one I created, all of them are not on LCS. If I go to my LCS, I will not see that there. If I go to the same LCS connected, I have a tier 2 here. As you can see, I have a tier 2 sandbox, but on my cloud hosted environment, of course, I will not see. I see only cloud hosted environment and not the Aurelian unified DevBox 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 7. Okay. Okay, if I go back to DevOps here, the only thing I don't really know is why we need to put the version here. So I put it the same as my unified operation DevBox, so 10.0.35. But yeah, I don't really know why we need to put that, and it's mandatory. So okay, but by default, there is some default value. I changed it, but maybe it was not really necessary to change it. Yet. Or maybe yes, it's something they will. I need to check that. And I will maybe update my article when I have a response to that. release. So yeah, build pipeline, that's just that's it globally. That's the only thing that changed. For the release, here, I can deploy. So I can still do the normal release, based on that. Because I can still do, the install that, upload to LCS and deploy to LCS, okay? Through LCS API, through a service account, the connection, LCS connection you have made, and you have made here, okay? But sometimes some people don't really like it because it's an account that are not MFA activated. That you will see that for release pipeline for unified operation, you will use in fact Power Platform. Hey, yeah, no more LCS, of course, because again, my environment is not on LCS. So it's how I can say I want to deploy. Let's say I was, on my unified operation development 2, and I want to deploy to unified operation 5, because this unified operation, it's in fact not a development environment, because I know that some customers or some partners deployed still Cloud Hosted, Azure Cloud Hosted environment as a UAT or testing internal thing, Q&A, QA, etc. So you can still do like this. You can still deploy a real standard development environment, but also some testing environment with this kind of unified operation sandbox, and deploy compiled the model you have developed. Okay. So here you have to create a service connection. So for that, you have to create an Azure app registration still. Okay. And there's this Azure app registration, but I think it's all documented in my blog. So you have an Azure app registration. You give access to common data service, Dataverse. No, please rename it Microsoft. And Dynamics CRM. Wow, incredible. And you give that permission to that. You save your tenant ID, client secret, as usual. I explain that. So I will show you that. And yeah, you will be able to use the service connection to deploy the package. And here you say the environment. So you will pick the environment URL, the CRM environment URL, not the FNO URL. Again, because Dataverse is the main, the front door of the house of the environment. Okay. So you say on this Dataverse, okay, let's deploy this package. Thank you. You will say, it's not a normal Dataverse. I would say it's a Dataverse with finance operation unified development experience, and you will deploy it, of course, the code after in FNO. Yeah. So you will see that, wow, what is template package.dll? It's in fact the generation. And I think, yeah, you remember I changed the form custable, I changed the Aurelian to Aurelian 2 from the form extension. Remember, sorry. Here, custable Aurelian dev, I changed it to Aurelian 2. And I have already pushed on my DevOps. I committed, this part. Again, I download the Nugget packages. You still need to have the X++ an artifact, on your DevOps to compile the code. That didn't change at all. Okay, you still need to build. Okay, you have a Visual Studio project to build the solution. You compile and you create the deployable package. Here, of course, it's here where it's changed because you will still create the model package, the LCS deployable package, but also the unified development developer package. Here, I can show you that it's on the output here related the drop. You will still have the the deployable runtime. And here it's the template package.dll. That's the one that you will need to deploy. In fact, that's the new thing. The new thing is this. Okay, that's the DLL that you need to deploy through the release pipeline. Okay, so I can show you how it will work because now this is important. Here it's manual, but of course, as I explained, it's CI/CD. So I can say that this build is run every night, okay, or at every change set. And I can release it automatically. It's here where you can schedule set and say that at 3 a.m. every day you deploy. But again, assume that you already know this part. The only thing I wanted to show you is really the impressive time to release it to the environment. It's like 15 minutes. I don't need to be the same today as I've done yesterday, but yesterday, no, this is not the good one. Sorry, this is a good one. Yesterday, I deployed, deployable package in 15 minutes, not 1 hour. Very good, huh? Because as you know, maybe in LCS, even if you just have one model with a hello world class, you know, just like me, in fact, as you have, as you noticed, I have only two objects, I think, in my model, so very not large one. But still, I didn't have to wait 1 hour to just deploy a very minor model. So let's check if we have the same thing. And you have the logs that you can check. It will deploy the finance operation module and do the debasing, of course, automatically. So now, so you don't have to, you don't have the part, of course, he downloads the artifact. He needs the Power Platform tool, build tools, and the extension DevOps we have used before. And after who am I, just for information, just to verify the connection part, you know, just to say, who am I? Through the app registration. The app registration, just for information, we have created an Azure before, just to, don't forget, but it's in my article again, to go to the environment in which you want to deploy and to have the S2S app. Okay, it's here where you say my app registration. So I think I created for the pack CLI, the app registration I created. It's here where you can you new app user, you know, because it's not really a user, you know, it's a service principal. Okay, so you have to add this service principal to the Dataverse environment, not finance operation, just Dataverse. Because again, you just ask Dataverse and deploy the package with Power Platform build tools, not with finance operation tools. So not with LCS. So you just need this administration to be part of Dataverse only. So that when I am on DevOps here, it can connect. Okay. Notification successfully connected as okay. Because he use my service principal, SPN. Okay. And now he's already deploying in my dev box from my new unified operation dev box Uno 5. Okay. Let's say as explained, Uno 2 was my unified operation environment where I have developed, where I was connected to Visual Studio to do development, deploy my model. And the 5 was in fact a test environment in which I want just to deploy my code. We will wait, maybe just I want to be to check if I have the same the same time as yesterday to deploy 50 minutes thing. Meanwhile, just to finish also, is the data ALM. Okay, so data ALM for me is, you know, copy, restore, backup, you know, database. Okay, just for information right now, the database, because I didn't spoke about it. You, as explained, the SQL database is not on my laptop. The only SQL database we have is just for the cross reference. Okay, only that. So again, the environment, the SQL database are on the cloud, like tier 2. Okay, but you know, on LCS we had a possibility to access 8-hour access, read only, even write to AXDB. Okay, if you want to do SQL request to check whatsoever, it was possible with the firewall rules, etc., etc. After you open up SSMS, and it was possible to connect. Right now, in public preview, again, hope it will change, and I think yes, of course. Microsoft, yeah, we don't have access to the SQL database right now. So again, that's why I explained that if you work only with those kind of environment right now for production project, for day-to-day real project, I don't think it's really as of now, in September 2023, it's not maybe a good way because you don't have access to SQL database. And I know that normally a lot of developers need to have access to SQL database just to, of course, to sometimes check something on the database, do query, etc., etc. If you normally don't need it, you can use this type of environment, but right, it's very. So how they will do that? I guess normally it's just a guess, that on the Power Platform admin center, if you are coming from CE or CRM thing, we already have for CE or CRM a TDS endpoint. Okay, so TDS endpoint, it's how you can have check that is on the settings here on the environment. You have where is it? Maybe it's TDS like this. TDS enable TDS endpoint. Yeah. So I think it's already enabled by default. In fact, yeah. So it's here where you say that I want to connect to my environment in TDS endpoint, but if you will have if you do that, you can check how to connect to TDS endpoint in Dataverse in Google. You have a documentation for that. Enable TDS endpoint Dataverse. You have a lot of things. Use to SQL. Voilà. You can, in fact, after connect to the environment, but here you will connect to the SQL database of the Dataverse, not finance operation. Okay, because again, there is two different database. Okay, it's not merged. Okay, it's two different containers. Even if you set up everything converged, just through Power Platform admin center, through Dataverse, and in fact, it will create a finance operation. In Dataverse, in CRM, CE, they don't use AOS. Okay, it's specific to finance operation. So this is why it's impossible to converge everything, and this is why even if you deploy through one process, one global process, and you have always Dataverse plus finance operation, it's still two separate containers. Okay, but right now, if you connect to it, you can on the CRM, but you will not be able to see the finance operation still. But for CRM, it's only read-only. So, and maybe sometimes in finance operation, like for LCS, it was possible to write something on the database. So, don't know how they will manage at this point. But as of now, we can't. Yeah. So, so you can copy, in fact, for the data ALM. If you go to admin center, if I want to say, if I want to copy one unified developer experience to another one, of course I can on the same data center. You can, if you go to one environment, you say go there and you can click copy. Come on. Copy and everything, pick everything, and you can say, okay, copy my unified operation 1, my devbox 1 to unified operations 5. And it will copy the Dataverse database plus the plus the finance operation database. Okay. And also it will copy the model, the code. Okay, everything. It's like really a copy paste. Okay. And last but not least for data LM, very, 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 very good. Sorry, but this is very good. Is that on LCS, because LCS is still a thing, okay, to manage tier 2, to manage production. And on my side, I said that this sandbox tier 2, oh, sorry. Wow, I have a very strange thing, sorry. Okay, this sandbox tier 2 have a Dataverse one-to-one already linked, okay, to install, as you can see, LCS add-in, okay. So, in fact, I already in my admin center, this is it. This is the tier 2, the Dataverse of the tier 2 sandbox. Again, I have the same thing. I unify the developer environment. I have the two URL, one for CRM, one for finance operation. The only thing you need to go is here to Dynamics 365 apps to check, but normally you will not have it by default because this one you need to have the Power Platform tools. you know, because this is mandatory to install it, to copy the sandbox tier 2 or the production, because it was a production, we have to do the same thing. After that, you have to go to LCS and to download the latest deployable package I have deployed. So it's this one. I can re-download it from my set library, okay, locally. And I think, if I'm not wrong, you need to, so yeah, to install this one, you need to convert this package, deployable package, to a unified package, the same thing we have done before in DevOps, okay, through the new process now. And when you have convert that, you can have some types, some CLI commands, so Power Platform Center CLI command to type to upload it. This will not do any downtime. This will not deploy something at all. This will just upload. Sorry, this will upload the DLL. You know, the template package DLL we had before. Sorry, so that when we will copy production to or sandbox tier 2 to my unified operation through Power Platform Center, it will also copy the code. Okay, so that's why you need it. And in fact, if I go there, in my tier 2, my Dataverse linked to my tier 2, I have now, because I have installed the Power Platform build tools here on my tier 2 sandbox Dataverse linked, I have now the Power Package Manager, and I can see all the model already deployed on this one, okay, with the unified package part. So here I think I have the centric and the IESV we have developed locally at Danagil. Okay. So here I have all the model deployed on it. So now, in fact, I am done. So for the data LM, so manually, if I go to here, I can go to my sandbox, or even it could be a production, and I can just say copy to my unified development experience, and it will do that automatically. It's very magic, because just a reminder for data LM, if you want to restore the latest database of prod into your development environment in Azure Cloud SC environment, you have to copy prod to sandbox first, refresh database, okay, backup that, okay, so just for that almost 3 hours, okay. After, you have to download this packet, this backpack locally, and to restore it through SQL package. So like 1 day of restore, okay. And after, you can work and debug. Now it's just a copy. It's like a refresh. So for me, I try it. It's taking 1 hour, 30 minutes. So in 1 hour, almost, maybe a little more than 1 hour, but 1 hour and 30 minutes, you have your unified development environment ready to go with the latest database of fraud, and you can start debug. Magic, no? And with that, it will also be possible to avoid to use API for LCS, because, as you know, I maybe noticed that I used a lot LCS API, and I still use it. Don't worry, because again, LCS is still a thing. If I want to copy prod to pre-prod every night, okay, I still use LCS API. I still have my data LM solution. Again, I have an article in my blog if you want to check that. But right now, the thing we can do, okay, is also to build, to have a build pipeline to copy automatically every night through a build pipeline here. Again, using the Power Platform tools. Again, I can say I have the copy environment, source, target. So the thing I shown before, you know, on the PPAC, on Power Platform Center UI interface, I can do it automatically through DevOps and through the Power Platform build tools, extension Visual DevOps, and through a service principal that support MFA. So security will be happy, okay? And not, you know, LCS API, we had to use you had to use app registration, but also we had to use an account that have access to LCS and without MFA. So not a big deal, not very good. Okay. And okay, this one could be also triggered automatically every night. In fact, let's say every night, I don't know, every night or every week, maybe every weekend, I want to copy my prod database to each development environment. It will be like this and automatically done. Wow. Yeah, really magic for me. And yeah, again, my release 2. Remember on the DevOps, I released it, just the form extension of Aurelian 2 on Custable to unify the development experience 2 to 5. So I will go to my unified development experience 5. This is this one. And normally I will go to file supervision and it will be there. Again, maybe the environment will be a little slow because he has deployed that. Okay. So I am on not the best legal entity to show. Of course, this type of environment, if you can add a functional consultant on it, it's and you don't have to manage shutdown, start, as you know, with Azure Cloud Hosted. Customers, come on. And after, I think we are good to go. I think it's 2 hours of demonstration. I know that it will be long, but it's really a large breaking change. Aurelian 2, that's good. Deployed, perfect. Magic. So really, again, I can show you, but I think at 12 minutes. I will do a benchmark maybe with a large model to check if we have the same kind of thing, but this is really huge. And yeah, I think that's it because I talked about this one. Yeah, I'm quite finished. Wow, sorry, it was long. Yeah, maybe create. Yeah, read this part very carefully. Also, the terminology. Also for the tutorial, the how-to do DevOps CI/CD. I have put the link. Even the data LLM, the copy environment. So data LLM plus ALM, you have the link, if I'm not wrong, of Microsoft Doc Learn. Yeah, this one is for CI/CD, DevOps code. Okay, the thing I explained before. So the build plus the release, and you have one for the data LM. The copy, but the copy through PPAC, so through UI. But they explain again how to convert the LCS deployable package to a unified package manually, etc., etc. And the terminology, yes, you can backup also. Import platform, backup is kept in the cloud, never done in India. So the backup is on the cloud. You can backup also if you like, but I don't know why now because you can backup a development environment database if you like, yes, indeed. But you will not download it normally locally because you don't need to deploy something locally. So okay. So restore, no, you can't. Will not applicable. We can't restore point of time for development environment. And reset not is not implemented. Yeah, reset yet. So to reset everything from scratch, you can't convert to production. Hopefully, of course, yeah. It will not be applicable, and the delete, yeah, is not yet implemented. Yeah, but you can delete and restore. Yeah. Well, that's it. Oof. Little tired, sorry. It was a long one. Tough one, big one, large one. So hope you had liked this video, and really don't hesitate to put comments on the video of YouTube or even on the comments of the article. Look, I will put the link of the article in YouTube if you check that only from YouTube. And yeah, I will still maybe update a little bit the article if during the preview if something happened, even like the TDS endpoint we talked before. If there is a new change or something like this, I will update in the coming weeks, months, and I will put a comment when I will do an update at the beginning of the article. And yeah, that's it, girls and guys. Thank you and see you next time. Bye bye. See you, see you.